if you don't like the food, ultimately, you can make a Marmite sandwich and put an apple in a lunch.
Agree with the clearly gendered and patronising language that Andrea Vance used to reduce senior cabinet ministers to girl bosses, hype squads, references to girl math and cunts.
And there was somebody yelling, "What a load of crap, this is performative, what a load of bullshit," and I thought, I've had 40 years or so of dealing with unruly hecklers in New Zealand. I just thought, that's what's going on, I don't know who it was, so I turned around and said, "Shut up, you dickhead."
Was it anti-immigrant sentiment you were sharing yesterday in the House, Mr. Peters?
This is not anti-immigrant sentiment. Why would you come to that stupid conclusion?
We're now at the point where being extinct isn't really the end of the story.
Well, the Constitution of New Zealand First says the list rankings should consider the gender diversity of the MPs.
Yeah, what's that to do with DEI? DEI?
Is that DEI?
No, it's not.
Why not?
Well, it's got 2 words for a start, not 3.
And I think it's frankly disgusting, the behaviour, creating maps around the country and lists that people feel that they have to be on.
Right. Hello there. Welcome to the Bugger Off 2025 quiz. And as soon as I pressed all the buttons, everything popped up screaming at me going, "Oh no, things aren't working. Apparently this isn't coming through to the Facebook page." So sorry about it, I guess. Maybe I didn't pay them enough this year for them to allow this to happen, which is kind of an embuggerance. Let me give you a quick rundown on how things are going to work tonight, because I can. Now, if you want to take part in this quiz, which I think would be awesome, there's like 32 questions. All you need to do is scan this QR code. We can have up to 100 people come along and join us as we go through the quiz tonight. It's completely free. You just need to enter in your name and maybe pick an emoji that you get. And as we go through the night, we'll keep track of which people are in the lead, how things are going, and making sure that everybody's having a bit of fun. But I'm not going to be doing this alone. I've actually got a couple of guests who are joining me here, and a couple who have helped ask some questions. So there's a few other faces that are popping up. So let's bring them in one at a time. Let's start off with Sam Hudson. Kia ora, Sam. How are you going? How is your New Year's Eve?
Hi, I'm doing well. My New Year's Eve, I just want this year to bugger off.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm just anticipating that countdown. So I'm really excited for that.
So at this point, it's still 5 hours away. It's a little bit of a distance, but it'll be fine. And also joining us, we've got Michael Moore, not the Michael Moore documentarian, talking Michael Moore, elected official from the Kapiti Coast. Kia ora, Michael. How's your New Year's Eve going?
Kia ora. Good, thanks, Paul. I'm beaming from around Oriental Parade in Wellington tonight, although this national coloured background, there's no resemblance to that. So it's been an interesting year. I've been re-elected. I think with your good work, with an enormous amount of researchers you've put together on your work to expose a lot of the crazy groups, we came out unscathed in Kapiti. Some didn't fare as well, but in most part, your education through exposing the disinformation networks and how they all overlapped was a highlight for me in this kind of quagmire and the mess of social media and journalism these days online.
Kapiti was a fascinating one for me because you obviously had the regional head of Voices for Freedom running for the mayoral team. I think he ran against you in a direct race, didn't he?
He did. And, I had, as I shared with you in one of our vlogs we did during the year, he confronted me after one of the public meetings and got really right in my face within, a few centimetres, spitting and spewing, and accused that why I would hang out with somebody like Mr. Barlow, who runs this video channel from his mother's basement, which is quite amusing.
Mum's been really good about making such a mess in her basement as well, so I must give her full credit for that. I'm very proud of that.
Anyway, we didn't get him or any of his We Love Kapiti mob across the line in here, and that was a great achievement and from support which you did.
One of the things I loved about the We Love Kapiti group is in the lead up to the election, there was a whole, no, we're not connected to Voices Free. Why would you think that we're connected to Voices? No, Then the day after, I think it was, or 2 days after the election, they changed their name from We Love Kapiti to Love Kapiti online.
Yep.
And then they started sharing content from Voices for Freedom going, well, as we said all along, Voices for Freedom know exactly what they're talking about. You know, an unregulated news source that has nobody that they answer to and mysterious funding bodies is totally the group that you should be trusting for the year. So that I thought was a lot of fun, watching them turn around and backpedal almost instantly. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Quick question for everybody else while they're sitting here and scanning and putting stuff up. Like, we've got 6 people who have lined up already to play this game tonight. From you guys, I'm kind of curious what your big prediction for next year is. Election year, you know, there's at least one person that I think most people are kind of hoping to see pop as clogs. What is your big prediction for 2026?
I'll let Sam go first.
My big prediction for 2026. Well, that's pretty broad because we've still got a whole year ahead, and it's really unknown at this point, especially speaking of Voices for Freedom and that reality cooker radio. I mean, it's just a waste of time to watch, but I still find it amusing. There's one host, his name is Lindsay Perigo or something like that. I don't know how his progress is going to go, but I'll continue to find that amusing. But speaking of politics, predictions for next year, the coalition of clowns probably not likely to make it to the election day without some sort of scandal.
Michael?
Yeah, look, it's an election, you know, which is under 12 months out now. That's certainly not in the bag for the incumbent government or coalition. It's been far from cohesive. It's set some huge divisive race baiting tactics over the last 3 years. You know, from their first week in office, they announced that you wouldn't say te reo or have te reo first on a number of government departments. And what did that achieve, Paul and Sam? You know, it achieved nothing but piss people off. Even people who weren't kind of on board with trying to get their words and their tongues around kia ora or whatever, they still didn't like that because they liked their Māori friends. And they know that we've been on a journey in New Zealand, Aotearoa, for a long time and accepting our first people. So you know, that to me is one of the most criminal things that this government's kind of set a path on. And it's a bit like Trump. It's going to take a long time to undo that. And I think that will play substantially in the next year's election campaign.
Out of curiosity, because you used to work in Parliament, Michael, how much of a difference in the attitude towards Te Reo Māori are you seeing now as an elected official at a local level versus what you saw when you were working within the Beehive?
Well, that's a good question. You know, undoubtedly, and certainly in local government in Kapiti and across the country, there really is a lot of integration and respect and understanding. You know, we even in this inauguration period since the last council election, we've had a number of meetings with different marae around the place, around the region. It didn't happen so much when I was sitting in the Beehive and in the research unit back under Bolger's time. But it wasn't a negative space, you know. I mean, you look back even before I was there, when Muldoon was there, you know, he had great association with the gangs and Māori who were connected with that and trying to solve problems there. So I think in many ways we're really got some big disparities going on with what Tamaki's doing. You know, days after the Bondi massacre shooting, you got Tamaki there marching around with his thugs in these blue T-shirts, yelling at another religion as if his God's better than one of the 50 or 100 other gods, you know. So I think we've made great progress in many areas. You know, Kapiti, as Sam will probably know, we've had a long partnership with Tangata Whenua and in Kapiti. We've just signed a 30-year partnership, renewed our 30-year partnership. So there's lots to be proud of. But I'm greatly concerned the back way that this government's behaved in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, particularly the erasure of Māori representation is just disappointing. I won't bring much opinion to that, but I've been a vocal critic of it myself, especially as people already know, I have grown up in that particular area.
Yep.
There is a massive connection between whānau and Pākehā, and it's rather interesting to see that the government has just completely sidestepped community.
Right, one last quick question while people are scanning the code to get in, and then I promise we'll get into the quiz. Do you have a predicted month for the election?
No, I think that they'll write it out. You know, I don't think they'll do Jacinda kind of coming in like and changing leadership in national. They'll stick with Luxon, which is the best thing for the opposition, quite frankly. You know, he's the most unpopular leader of party for a long time, and they don't have a lot of good songs to sing. You know, I'm speaking like I'm an ardent enemy against them, and I worked for the Nats under Bolger back in the mid-90s. But I think they'll write it out. I think it'll be November, sometime mid-November probably.
Sam?
I mean, my honest opinion, if we continue to hear Back on Track, we know exactly what's going on. And unfortunately, that's just the reality for me. And my biased view is if we continue to hear Back on Track, no new slogans, we know who's going right to the election. And I personally recommend that Prime Minister Christopher Luxon resign and save his public image, just like prior national leaders, because it would be probably a red wave, without a doubt. Again, biased opinion, but if there was an extension or if there was an early election, I couldn't quite predict that. Unfortunately, I don't have a perspective on that. I would rather say that if you continue to hear the same slogans repeating constantly, Back on Track, for example, with narrative framing, that's exactly where a government is heading.
Cool. Right. Should we jump into the quiz? Ask some questions.
Sure.
Okay, so
absolutely.
Users at home can jump along. The QR code is in the corner. They can join at any time that they want to. In fact, I will put up a little banner just to remind people. All you need to do is scan the QR code. Easy as that. And it will take you into the screen. You just have to enter your name and you're good to go. Once I hit the start button, it's going to give us a little quick timer, and then the first question is going to pop up. We'll have 20 seconds to answer the question, and then we'll get told what the correct answer is. If you're playing along at home, it will tell you exactly if you got it right or wrong. It'll keep a tally. Every 4 or 5 questions, we'll do a check-in as well to see who's where at the at-home game, who is competing well, who's at the top of that leaderboard. Because I'm sure that there'll be a few people who do really well with this. Now, I should point out, not all questions in this are political. Not everything that happens all year is political. It has a huge impact, and it's really easy to find horrible questions about the government, but it's not the case for all of these questions that we've got to deal with here. Right, first question. Are you guys ready to go?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Right, let's just resize my screen so I can actually do everything all at once. So first question. So this is one of 32, which does seem like a lot, but which country did the New Zealand soccer team beat to get into the FIFA 2026 World Cup pool? Was it Australia, Belarus, New Caledonia, or none? We just reached the minimum bribe level for FIFA.
Oh, okay.
I'll say Australia, but I'm hopeless on sport. I'll just say that.
So it's actually New Caledonia.
Really?
Yeah. So I used to play soccer when I was younger. I actually do follow a bit of soccer, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. I saw this comments come up from Geek Gamer, and I totally get it. Sports. I'm not a big sports person myself. There's not many sports questions in here. I figured it was safer just not to not to have too many sports questions.
Only 3 people picked Australia though, so at least I got a point that way.
Yeah. All right, next question, which is also a sports question, I think. Which government minister ordered the removal of voluntary trans-inclusive guidelines in amateur sports from the Sports NZ website? Was it Chris Bishop, Winston Peters, Mark Mitchell, or none? Because no government would be that stupid, cruel, and heartless.
It's got to be Winnie.
Yeah?
What do you say, Sammy?
Mark Mitchell.
It was it? Really? Wow.
Why did everyone vote Winston Peters? Even I did. What the hell?
So Winston was
Mark Mitchell.
He was very vocal about this. This was something he made a promise
That's
about.
right.
And he was
What if I just voted Winston Peters to like back up Mark Mitchell?
Well, only one person.
Let's start a conspiracy theory.
That was right onto it. Originally, it was Chris Bishop's call, and he was the one who was like, "Well, no, look, the guidelines are actually fine. We think they're fit for purpose." Winston threw a bit of a tantrum, and then Mark Mitchell ended up making the call to have those guidelines removed. And those guidelines were voluntary. They were there as a service for any sports platform, any sports code that might have wanted to use them. And Winston decided to have a bit of a tantrum, and yeah, it was not great.
Well, NZ First were fixated on the bathroom, were they not?
Yeah, NZ First is not a great bunch of people, to be honest. I actually ran into
New Zealand
the North
First,
Coast New Zealand First candidate this afternoon, and she was crazy. She was absolutely crazy. So yeah, don't forget, you can jump in anytime just by scanning the barcode that's there in the bottom corner. You come along and join. Right, let's jump on to the next question. Question 3. All right, Portia Woodman-Wycliffe achieved which honour in 2025? She had a Barbie doll modelled after her. She became New Zealand's leading women's 15-a-side try scorer, became New Zealand's highest equal try scorer of all time, or became an Order of the New Zealand Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit. Any guesses?
I knew that one.
So she actually did all of these. She's
Wow,
probably our most accomplished sports person of the year. Absolutely stunning stuff that she had. The Barbie doll one threw me, actually, because I knew that there was a couple of rugby players that had Barbie dolls modelled after them. And I didn't realise that there was a New Zealander that was in there. So I thought, yeah, this is very good.
So kind of a trick question, but wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. We should be celebrating people like Portia because we don't see this often enough. All right, next question. This year, Hawaii Ho, a tikanga-led Sports NZ initiative that was designed to transform sport, play and activity to create holistic wellbeing initiatives, was cancelled to pay for tax cuts for landlords, given an increase in funding, expanded to include primary and secondary schools, or won international recognitions. Any guesses?
I'd say it was cancelled to pay for tax cuts.
Yeah, cancelled to pay for tax cuts. It was one of a number of initiatives that the government decided to cancel because tax cuts. Tax cuts for landlords.
That was one of the most horror things, wasn't it, what they did for landlords in their first 6 months?
Yeah, it was actually horrifying what they did for the first 6 months. All right, so let's have a look at the leaderboard so far. Playing at home, Magenta is well ahead of most others. That's brilliant.
Don't really show my score point.
Sorry, I'll leave it at that. So yeah, Magenta leading right now, rocking with the longest streak. That's really cool. Let's get away from the sports questions. All right. So this is my friend Anna. She's got a question for you guys as well, which will pop up afterwards so you can answer it. So you get a little bit of extra time to think about this one. Tell me, I hope you guys can hear it. I've put the subtitles on just in case. Did the audio come through on that?
No, not on our end, Paul.
Okay. Chris says, so how much did Health New Zealand underspend on wages in 2025 while frontline medical staff called for fairer pay and safer staffing levels? Was it 538 million, 510 million, 204 million, or nothing? They went over budget.
Golly, Yeah, I was going to go 500,000, 510 million.
Yeah, 538 million. The 510 million.
I do recall
was
an
how much
article discussing the over budget.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the 510 million was how much the government told the health ministry that they had to save in terms of funding their budget cuts and their tax breaks for landlords. The 204 million was the amount of money that they actually spent on nurses. They were not great. Not great. Right, let's go. Next question. What have we got? How many countries has the Prime Minister visited in 2025, not counting any holidays in Te Puke? Is it 5, 7, 11, or 13?
Maybe 7, I would think. It's been overseas a number of times.
Yeah, 13 times.
Okay, well, I was closer. I made 11. Okay, I don't follow the Prime Minister that much. Not that much of a fanboy.
No, fair enough. But not forgetting, being overseas and visiting countries is different. He went to Europe for Anzac Day, and while he was there, the Pope died, so he went to the Vatican, which was another country. So the number of trips he had was around, I think it was around 7, but the number of countries he's visited was 13,
including the top of a mountain.
It's not that many visits.
No, but he's out there getting our mojo back. I think that was the line he used. All right, let's go. Question 7. How many MPs have
I love that
passed away
comment.
in office this term? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Golly, I can think of 3. So there has to be at least 3, maybe.
Yeah, it's 2. I just can't remember the names. My apologies.
So you had Efeso Collins passed away the 21st of February,
That's right.
24. And you had Tash Takutai Kemp, and I can't remember the exact date that she passed away, but that was earlier this year as well. So one at either end of the terms.
I figured it was 2. I just, with all respects, I couldn't remember the names.
Yeah, which is understandable, especially right at the beginning of the term for Efeso. You know, that's a long time ago, and it happened so soon. Like I think it was the week of his inaugural speech. So yeah, it was kind of sad stuff. Right, question 8. Loud things here. How many New Zealanders left the country in 2025? Was it 72,600, 50,200, 38,900, or 12?
Well, it's certainly not 12, Paul Barlow.
It just seemed like a good number.
I'm going to say
Seemed like a
50,000.
really good number.
50,200, mate.
Yeah, 70,000.
Wow.
Because I remember watching not to be, I'm not promoting Labour or anything, but I saw a post from Labour, which had that particular number, and it's just embedded in my mind.
Yeah. Should we ask a bonus question then?
What?
Oh no, dangerous, Paul.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's a bonus question I've got on here next.
It's dangerous guy.
Yeah. Which number is higher? The number of Kiwis as in people that have left, or the number of Kiwi as in bird that are left in the wild? Any guesses?
Oh.
I felt it's a trick question.
It is a trick
Well, it is kind of a trick, but
I got it right.
So
Paul, you said in the wild, and I had to read that question twice. I was like, that is not true what you just said.
I just want to point out the rogue apostrophe down the bottom there, by the way.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, okay.
No idea. So 72,600 New Zealanders migrated away from the country in the last 12 months, while estimates say that there are 68 to 70,000 Kiwi left in the wild, which is not a small number. Like they could be better, but yeah, more New Zealanders left the country than Kiwi bird are left in the country.
We've had a re-emergence, some great success stories of Kiwis in the wild around Wellington, you know, with the predator-free movement.
Hey,
right up
really
to up to the green belt now. So what's the leaderboard doing, Paul?
Right, so Magenta's still in the lead here, but only by 1 point. Geek is coming up really close, sitting on 410, and Aiden is sitting on 373. With Middle Earth, Marks is down a little bit there on 284. So it's getting really close. This is really cool. I love how competitive people are, and I'm hoping Magenta's doing well, swapping between phone and the quiz. All right. Keep chasing Magenta. Right, question number 10. We're getting there. Which MP said the most words in Parliament in 2025? Was it David Seymour, Chris Bishop, Lawrence Zunan, or Duncan Webb?
I'm pretty sure it's Duncan Webb. I'm pretty sure. Or it's either Lawrence. I'm one of those two.
I would say David Seymour, actually.
And David doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Okay, look. My guess was like medium. That was like very close to high.
Wow, Lawrence, eh? There you go.
Yeah. Lawrence, because he's opposition, he gets 10-minute speeches. So he gets longer speeches than sitting parliament, like sitting parties do, or government parties do. And he talks about quite a few different topics. So he said the most words in Parliament in the 2025 year. Chris Bishop had the most speeches in Parliament for 2025. And that's because as leader of the House, he brings a whole bunch of like housekeeping stuff in. But yeah, it's Lawrence who has the most amount of words that have been spoken.
Isn't this interesting what this is saying? That people think they hear David Seymour's voice and name so much that we think he's the loudest and the most heard. But that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So
I have words for David Seymour, but I will not
hit that little code on the corner.
Increase my word count.
Yeah.
You've got to get it up. You've got to speak more. For those that have just joined, you can scan the QR code that's in the corner there and you can play the game along at home as well. You're going to have to do really well to beat our top two who are like neck and neck. So jump on in. It's all completely free. Right, next question. This is my friend Rihanna. You might have seen her on a few different things show up.
I've seen her pop up on Facebook quite often.
Yeah. So again, got the subtitles on this one, and the question will come through afterwards. If the sound is not working, sounds like it's not working properly, but we'll give it a play.
Okay.
All right. So if you missed that one, what bill got the most opposed bill ever in Aotearoa, New Zealand, with over 300,000 submissions this year, with over 90% of people opposing? Was it the Gene Tech Bill, the Pay Equity Amendment Bill, the Treaty Principles Bill, or the Regulatory Standards Bill?
So it's a toss-up between treaty principles and the regulatory standards, but I think it's the treaty principles.
Yeah. I did some reporting on that.
Yeah, 300,000. It crashed the website at Parliament the first day it was supposed to be getting to the end, and then they had to extend it. There were that many people that were submitting for it. David Seymour called them bots, and a whole bunch of hard right groups like Hobson's Pledge, for example, had their submissions discounted because they did form letters. So there was nothing
calling them bots when he probably uses like he's been proven to use social media bots.
Yeah.
To increase his follower count. So
yeah,
the guy's just as bad as his words.
And, and the whole debate crashed, and he even claimed it as a win, if you remember, Paul.
Yes.
Which was bizarre.
Well, here's a conspiracy about it. I know we're short on time, but there's actually I'll just summarize it real quick. Based on my reporting and what I've witnessed, is that there's microbloggers out there that are continuing to talk about the bill is not over, and I won't name particulars in this just due to some legal things, but it's just rather interesting that they want to keep trying to remove Māori representation wherever it is.
Yeah, well, David has said himself he wants to bring it back.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that will be something he'll likely run his next campaign on.
Yeah, something to look forward to next year, tomorrow.
And we'll be right on at April.
What was that?
We'll be right on to him.
Oh yeah. So, which MPs have made comments degrading other MPs based on their race or place of birth, which have been called racist this term? Winston Peters, Shane Jones, Ryan Hamilton, or Todd McLean? And again, you can pick more than one.
I'm definitely going to probably get this one wrong. I'm just
we might say all of them.
Hey, I got that right. Okay, all right, I'll take it.
There was no option here that was wrong. Winston Peters has done it a number of times, particularly towards the Green Party's Mexican MP. We were saying with Shane Jones, actually, he screamed across the House, "Go back to Mexico," in a debate with Chloe while she was speaking. Ryan Hamilton just last week turned around and called migrants coming into the country things that disgusted him in Parliament. And Todd McLean got caught calling Mexicans people that need to go home and stop taking our jobs. So all four of them over this term have said really racist stuff in Parliament, which is all on record and hands out if anybody wants to go hunting for it. Remember, next year you can change the government.
Goes hand in hand with this theme of a racial kind of tone that we've seen from the beginning of this term of Parliament.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I got a question for that. What does it prove? It gets us nowhere.
That's sad. Now, speaking of, how many MPs have been hounded out of office because of actions amplified by hard right Twitter trolls that support New Zealand First? 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Like as in like leaving.
Well, there's Benjamin Doyle for a start.
I don't know the second one. I know that one, but not the second one. What's the second one?
There was another Green MP, wasn't there?
There's been a few who have left, but I can't imagine Tanya Unkovic leaving because New Zealand First Twitter trolls got grumpy with her. She's right up there.
It was Gora is.
Yeah, awful bunch. All right, let's go. Next question. Oh, leaderboard. All right, how are we going here? Magenta again, slipping forward there, 651 to Geeks 523 points. Aiden still holding firm in third place. Caroline coming in fourth. Remember, if you've just joined us, you can scan the QR code that's in the bottom corner there. Come and join us. I don't know how much of a chance you've got for being able to get to the top level, but it's always fun to see. Magenta's doing really well.
So what's your prize, Paul, if she wins tonight?
Eternal gratitude.
Of course.
Gets to go on a leaderboard. We'll I don't know, Hall of Fame stuff. I'm sure Magenta will have very specific instructions on how we make sure that they are immortalized for doing so well if they win.
I didn't mean to imply by putting a pronoun on Magenta. I'm sorry. I'll take that back.
All right, let's jump into the next question. About halfway through. Whoa, what's happening there? Okay, so I hit the wrong button. My brain must be coming up fried. What date did the IREX ferry arrive this year? Was it December 1, November 15, September 12, or there is no IREX ferries because landlord tax cuts?
Nothing's arrived, as far as I know.
I don't think the IREX ferry has arrived, has it?
No, definitely not.
No.
The IREX ferries were cancelled within a couple of weeks of this government getting in by text message, 2 hours before they made the announcement that they were cancelling the ferries.
Huge amount of wasted money.
Hashtag Ferrygate.
They just kind of sat there going, yeah, we did this, we screwed things up. And then they paid this year around $650 million for no ferries. It was like the cancellation fees and stuff.
Well, I particularly think what's more interesting is we're spending billions on roads when critical infrastructure like ferries that are breaking down need to be replaced and hospitals are run down. I think that's more important for a government to focus on than roads when particularly our road network is quite good.
I don't know.
Like a bypass that saves a few minutes, really, for billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump into the next one. All right. What was the recidivism rate of the new and totally different, honest, really youth boot camps that we saw this year? Was it 50%, 65%, 85%, or 95%?
Oh, it's more than 50%. You know, the boot camp run up in the Manawatu was a total failure. You know, within weeks, the first few weeks they were out there, and I think a number of them carjacked and caused a horrific accident. It was a total disaster, this boot camp. And you know, they launched it. Oh, we got the answer there, haven't we? Wow, look at that. 85% recidivism.
Did it go up 5%?
Yeah. It was 85 because the numbers were readjusted after one died. He
Okay.
died in a non-related car accident. So yeah, the numbers were readjusted. It ended up being about 85%. I think it was 85.
And you know, Paul, they announced that they were going to go ahead with this boot camp on the day of the abuse and care inquiry. When in fact that subject was in there too of its historical abuse claim. So just such a shame, a huge horror and black mark on this government.
Yeah, and the fact that they were like, you know, we're going to do this. By the way, here's our apology for abuse in state care, but we're still going to do the things that led to that abuse. That was
so 85%. We'll take that number to the election.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's jump into the next one. All right, the number of violent crimes, burglaries, sexual offences, and drug-related crimes in 2025 has increased, decreased, stayed the same, or it's not known because measurements were changed. A bit like what they did with the budget.
Yeah. I don't think we know.
Well,
I think
it's hard to trust any sort of figures that come out from the government.
That's true.
So I marked increase.
The numbers from the police show that those,
it's
particularly in those areas,
when
increased.
So it did increase.
When you look at all the news articles, it doesn't look like it's in a decline at all.
No, but that's a really interesting thing as well. The way that news presents these stories, that they did it for ram raids, for example, in the lead up to the last election. Ram raids were out of control. Ram raids weren't measured before, I think it was 2022. So like, there's no data before that anyway, in which you can go, this is what's happened. And yet the press was like, they're out of control, they're mad, the numbers are going up, because they started at 0 a year beforehand, and anything is a massive increase on that. It's interesting to see how this kind of stuff gets framed.
And you know, the talking points are that violent crime has gone down, and it's totally contradictory to the statistics. Yeah.
One of the ones that got me with the crime stats was around Auckland, when they're sitting there going, yeah, violent crimes have gone up, particularly around domestic abuse. They went up quite significantly. But in the CBD, the numbers have gone down because we've pulled constables from other areas so that we could have them seen in the CBD, because people didn't feel safe because there's homeless people there. So it was a really interesting exercise in basically shifting the cards on the table to make it look like things were being done in one particular public area and having some really negative impacts for people in other areas. And it's all because they haven't done a great job of fighting crime like they keep saying that they're going to. All right, let's jump on to the next one.
Yeah, right.
All right, the number of business liquidations this year is the highest in how many years? 5, 10, 15, or 20?
I'm going to go for 15.
15? Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it would be 10 onwards, but I selected 10. That's bad of me.
No, nothing wrong with that at all. I'm going to take this down.
Well, there's it's rather interesting. There's a lot of business liquidations, right? It raises some questions.
Wow. What just happened there? Button's not working properly for me. Love it when things don't work for me. I'm going to bring up a video file because I can. Give me 2 ticks. All right. This is just an in memoriam for some of the businesses that we've lost this year, because obviously businesses do much to improve the government.
Oh, how you've got the receipts. I love it.
National took the wheel and turned it to the wall. while Luxon cheered the rise before the fall. ACT and New Zealand first join in the song, telling the hungry that they've got it wrong. Record departures on the midnight flight, while they kill the dreams of the Kiwi right. It's a business boom built on empty stores, with record liquidations at our doors. They punch the poor while the numbers climb. The coalition's progress is a social crime. A 30-year high for the boardrooms and the few, while the rest of us are queuing for a life that's new.
So
Wow.
it's close to 30,000 businesses have gone into liquidation this year.
That's just, yeah, it's mind blowing.
But business confidence is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mind blowing because every single business is an everyday Kiwi. Well, majority, I should say. There's probably some foreigners, but the fact of the matter here is that's someone's livelihood, that's someone's passion, that's someone's project that they built and spent time on, regardless of business type. It's just, we shouldn't be seeing so many businesses shutting down, and when we have a government so relentless to support businesses and cut costs for the benefit of the taxpayer, that doesn't exactly help the economy.
Yeah, I think the thing that gets me about this, on that first list, this is the only government I've ever known that has been able to make it impossible to sell weed. They had a weed company go under. Who makes it so hard that a weed company goes under in this country? Like, that's just...
All right, let's just legalize it.
Yeah. Yep, I think that's the best plan. All right, let's jump into the next question.
It's that simple.
Magenta has taken a really big lead here now. 200 points against Geek, ahead of Geek, 588 there for Caroline. Aiden slipped down to 4th place. Again, for people who have just joined, there's a QR code in the corner. They can go and sign up. They can join us there, see if they can knock Magenta off the top post. I don't like the chances. Don't like the chances at all. All right, next question. All right, after promises of increased numbers, which of the following, got that one wrong, did actually see a significant increase? New frontline police officers, household discretionary spending, GPs, or gang members?
Well, police officers, I understand.
There'll be some more gang members, I would think, because they really targeted them with their patches banning.
Well, I don't associate with gangs, so I wouldn't even look at them. So yeah, clearly got that one wrong. But it's rather interesting. So there's a rise in gang members.
Oh, it's a significant rise in gang members.
They targeted them there for their patch ban, and I think that had a real pushback to say, yeah. And do you call Brian Tamaki? He's got a gang as well, Paul?
Yeah, I consider Two Tangata a gang. Right. I think they meet the criteria. I don't think Mark Mitchell thinks they meet the criteria.
I mean, I say it in jest a bit, but there's a bit of truth to that. You saw them on the streets of Auckland just a couple of weekends ago, and they are nothing but a bunch of thugs and angry people. Look how they stormed Te Atatu Library. These are lawless, angry, violent people, and the court has proven this.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, it's a gang led by a ringleader who also is in millions of dollars of debt.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
he was
He's
one
had
of
a
the
couple
liquidations, I think, in that list, probably.
So how can Brian Tamaki get away with this for so long? I think there needs to be a bit more accountability, to be honest.
I think his comeuppance is coming.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really do hope so. Let's see. Just going to answer this one here for Big Olby. I have no idea. I guess so. I can certainly look into putting it up online. I hadn't actually thought that far ahead. I haven't really thought far beyond the finish of the quiz, to be honest, but we'll see. I'll find a way to get it up online for people to have a go at it.
Yeah,
Getting busy.
lovely.
All right. So you can sit here and relive all the horrors of 2025. Which territorial authority had the most elected members with connections to New Zealand First, hard right disinformation groups in this year's local body elections?
Well, of course, I should know the answer to this, shouldn't I? It's it's got to be the first one, Selwyn,
I
of course.
clicked the wrong one. Damn.
Which one did you pick, Sam?
Hamilton.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Hamilton had 4.
Yep.
Hamilton had 4. There was Andrew Bidder and 3 other members of the better Hamilton team that were elected. One who lied about being a lawyer, one who allegedly stole contact data from a charity so their partner could set up a competing business that did exactly what the charity did, and one who is the world's biggest NIMBY and has already said he wants to shut down all trains and public transport services within the city to save people money. And, they're led by a pathological liar. So 4 in Hamilton. Selwyn had 11 of the 12 people elected that had links to disinformation groups, including the deputy mayor, Big Red, who is a huge Donald Trump fan. You've got Elizabeth Munt, who is a local regional Voices for Freedom coordinator who worked with their local ratepayers group to promote specific people like their new mayor, Lydia Glidden. Yeah, so 11 of the 12 people there have connections
clowns,
to those
man.
right
Bunch of
New Zealand
clowns.
First groups. Yeah.
and I'll just repeat that we didn't get any in company. Can I say that? We didn't get any of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really
Definitely
know. I didn't quite follow the local elections. Because I do a bit of journalism and such. I got to be careful with my voting because you appear in voting records and such, and when you're laying low and hiding from the regime, you got to be very careful.
But it was good your work, Paul, exposing all these and putting them on the table and where they were.
Yeah.
How many videos did you do of each council around the country from
I have no idea.
You did so many, Paul. Like I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot of hard work. You've put a lot of research into everything, especially that documentary you did, AstroTurfs.
If it had worked, there'd be less people elected that fit into that category.
Yep.
That's all I will say on that. I'll look into it for next year for the general election and see how many crazies we've got. We'll worry about that then. All right.
I'll be with you to promote it.
Perfect. All right. How long had Tom Phillips been on the run before the violent end to events in September? 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, or 4 years?
I think it was 4 years, wasn't it?
I recall, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
It's certainly more than, it was at least 3 anyway.
It felt like forever.
Yeah.
That guy was, he was
Here we go.
champion. He was a hide and seek champion.
Oh yeah, and seeing the photos of the places where he was hiding with the kids, that's long haul stuff that he's dug himself in there for. But it's just so complicated. I've got a place down in that area down near Maricopa, and there's this weird local legend status that Tom had while he was on the run. He was a hero. He was standing up to the government. He was doing things his own way. It was really fascinating to see that attitude come out in people. Then after what happened after that incident, there was this really firm split down there between what he did was heroic and what he did was horrific. And I think that there'll be more information that comes out in that over the next 12 months or so.
Yeah, there needs to be some...
I think the whole situation is just really troubling in itself because there's just so many pinpoints and aspects to it that discussing it generally is just, it's hard to discern a position, if that makes sense. No one knows the full story as it's going through the courts.
Yeah. All right, let's jump on to the next one. How many members of Destiny Church's Man Up organisation were charged from the Te Atatu library attack in March? Was it 3, 5, 7 or 9? I think the answer is not enough.
No, not enough, yeah. There was at least 7 for the court, I would think, that were charged. And some of them were pretty horrific. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I saw a headline that said 7.
And some of the charges were pretty horrific too, Paul.
Yeah. And that video that they were streaming, those poor kids, trapped in that room with an angry mob outside, and they're there because they want to learn. It's a community outreach event. It was just absolutely horrible to see that happen. And he keeps.
I mean, when you get a bunch of gang member guys, gang member alike guys, I should say, coming in and making a ruckus, I wouldn't blame them. It's a scary situation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the parents and whatnot would be absolutely disgusted.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really impressed though with how quickly the community stepped up and said, you know what, fuck you guys. To the church, to the people that were involved with this. Really good to see that come together. I was talking to Dr. Will Flavel, who's on the Henderson Massey local board out there, and the day that it happened, and he was just in absolute shock. But he was sitting there going, the aroha that you get in a community like theirs, it's palpable when something like this happens. You just get this wraparound for the people that need the support, and you get a very firm, nah, you can fuck off. We don't, that's not us, what you're doing to the people that have caused this problem, which is really good. I think we need more communities like that, personally. All right, so don't forget, if you've just arrived, because I saw the numbers shoot up a little bit just before, if you scan the QR code down the bottom, you can actually join us online and compete. I don't know if you're going to beat Magenta, and Magenta does seem to be pretty on to it. But
I'd recommend your viewers share the stream with friends.
Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely,
I never tell people to subscribe to the channel. It's weird. I should do that more often. All right. Oh, there we go. Leaderboard. Oh, okay. We have a new second place here. Ego Rub. It's first equal with Magenta.
God, yeah.
Wow. And Aiden's popped back up into third. Geeks dropped down to fourth. This is, okay. This will be interesting to see how this goes, because we're nearing the end. So very, very impressed. All right, 22 of 32. Feels like a lot. All right, the number of transactions that took place in the busiest sale period of the year, which is between noon and 1 p.m. on Christmas Eve, was the highest in 3 years, matched last year's number, the lowest in 3 years, or something that's actually not measured, and I just made this up to fill in space.
I think it'd be the lowest in 3 years, actually. Here we go.
Technically, it was the lowest in 6.
Wow. Oh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. It was really bad. And I haven't seen the data for Boxing Day, for sales figures for Boxing Day. But it just goes to show you that the economy is not doing great for people out there at the moment.
Does this statistic capture online purchasing as well, Paul?
This is specifically FPOS transactions within that period. So it's one. It's impossible, I think, to do cash transactions over that period so close to Christmas and to get the data. But FPOS gives us our biggest way of tracking it. So that includes online as well as in store.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the next one. All right, the current unemployment rate of 5.3% is the highest since 2022, 2020, 2018, or 2016.
I think it's 2018. It might even be before then, in fact. I think. I mean, Dave can. There we go. 2016. I mean, this government's dumped a huge amount of state sector workers onto that list as well.
Yeah,
I think
10,000 state sector workers.
Yeah, there's at least 10,000. Right, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, ridiculous numbers. It is even the global financial crisis, the numbers weren't quite as high as they are now. So the government must be doing something really well to get numbers up that big.
You know, this
They should
we
be
always
proud.
well, we always thought the Nats were the economy party, you know, but this is not true anymore.
No, but hardcore Nat supporters don't want to believe that. I've
No,
always
no.
found that a really interesting one. Doesn't matter what data you present, as far as they're concerned, doesn't matter, because they can feel it in their bones. And for a lot of them, they can see their bones because their skin's getting really thin.
Gosh, this doesn't even measure up with what happened in COVID. It's extraordinary.
No. All right, bonus question. Which is the higher number, the number of people unemployed or the number of people who voted in Wellington in this year's local body election?
Right.
Any guesses?
Voted.
Think the voting number is higher?
Well, maybe.
I got that one
No,
right.
unemployed, of course.
Yeah.
Great question, though.
So there are currently 160,000 people unemployed in the country, and half of that number, 81,500, voted in Wellington's local body elections this year. So
I think the percentage of local body needs to be addressed everywhere, of course, because, you know, we just sat at about 46% in Kapiti. I think Wellington was below that. The Wairarapa's usually quite a lot higher. Where was the highest? Up in the bay somewhere, I think you mentioned?
Yeah, I think so. Generally speaking, rural areas tend to have higher voter turnouts than urban areas. I think the highest that was recorded was around 50%.
Yeah, disappointingly low everywhere, though. It needs to be changed for online and in-person voting, you know. The system just does not function really well to get good participation.
Or you could just do what the government did and say, fuck what you voted for. We're going to tell you how to set things up from now on, and you will do it our way.
Right.
Like with regional councils.
Yeah.
Yep, not great numbers. All right. Another leaderboard update. Magenta. Oh, wow. Just ahead of Ego Rub here. Magenta sitting on 1129. Ego Rub 1121. Aiden sneaking up there now at 1027 in third place. Geek dropping down to 894. It is really, really close here. Really close. All right. In the final stretch of questions here. Between September and December 2025, which group had the highest spend on Facebook advertising according to Meta? Was it the National Party, the ACT Party, Hodgson's Pledge, or the Taxpayers Union?
TPU, hands down.
That Jordan Williams.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies.
Yeah,
fingers.
Have to be the Taxpayers Union. Yeah.
Yep, the Taxpayers Union spent more than all of the other groups mentioned on this list combined in that period. And the thing that they're pushing is whatever it is that people are getting upset about. There was a lot of money spent on the whole Ruth Richardson versus Nicola Willis debate that never was. And there's been a little bit of stuff that's happened since then around, you know, councils have spent this much money and that's something you should be celebrating.
Yep.
There's a lot of money being spent there. And next year, they will spend even more. I guarantee.
Do we know how much they spend in this period, Paul?
No, I don't know the exact amount. I know when I checked, it was over $500 that they'd spent on advertising so far. And there was only one other group, I think, that had spent more in that same category. And it was actually, I think, Forest and Bird or might be Greenpeace, something like that. So in terms of advocacy for politics, it was actually the left who spent the most in that period on a really specific element of changing laws around RMA changes, I believe it was. So yeah, it's like a campaign to get in there. All right. Question 26. Before being cancelled this year, how often was the national census held? Was it every 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years?
It was held every 4 years, I think, wasn't it? Or maybe longer. Census, maybe it was every 5 years, a census. Here we go.
Every 5, yeah. So it sort of hit in between election cycles. I think every 2. cycles it came. Yeah, or something like that.
And it's going to come at a great cost. You know, the data and information that it provides us on social movements, in all kinds of areas. It's an enormous attack on giving good information to elected officials.
Yeah. If you don't have the data, you can't make the decisions. That's what it boils down to. It's depressing.
Instead, we're getting incompetent decisions.
Yeah. All right. In December 2025, how many times did the High Court declare a government decision unlawful? Did it none at all, once, twice, or 3 times?
I understand it might have been once or twice.
Yeah, I'm going 3 times on this.
Something to do with like. Hey, okay, 3 times. What?
3 times.
Yeah. Do you have the answer to that?
So there was actually a legal thing that the court put in place around making sure that prisoners got exercise time. The government, the group in charge of corrections that the government was overseeing, had allowed prisoners to not do exercise if they didn't want to, and the court enforced that they had to. So that one wasn't a government bad kind of thing, but the government was given a court-ordered discretion that their decision was considered unlawful. Right. There was another one around Paul Goldsmith and his pick for the Human Rights and the Race Relations Commissioner. The process for that was considered unlawful, and changes to the RMA specific to, I think it was one of the South Island fast track approvals, was also considered unlawful. So it was 3 within the month of December. All right. Must be getting near the end. How many voters could be potentially stopped from voting under new voter registration laws announced in June? These new law changes are the...
I understand it was like 100,000.
Taking people off
the more,
roll.
actually.
You won't be able to enroll on the day and vote.
100,000.
Yeah, I know it was quite a lot. Yeah. Okay, all right.
There you go. I'm wrong.
But
still quite a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, the Electoral Commission's estimate was 55,000 based on the number of people who voted in that period at the last election. And voter turnout was a little bit lower, so it could be higher. So this,
it just shows. It just shows the clown government is afraid of losing. It's afraid of people power,
Yeah. So we have to make sure this year that people have registered to vote well and early. People can register to vote before they turn 18, and then they're automatically registered in that period if they turn 18 in that period. The only way to get people out of power is to vote them out at this stage, and any government that works their way to try and make that harder is not doing anybody any favors.
I've worked for the
Electoral Commission. Just imagine
them
sitting at the round table and discussing this.
Yeah. Extraordinary, not allowing young people who walk in on the day of an election to actually enroll. This is gerrymandering at its finest.
Yeah,
it is absolutely.
And that's our last question. New voters too. New voters, when they can finally vote, they're pushed out of it intentionally. So they might not be aware of it. So there needs to be some sort of education campaign.
Yeah. Oh, there will.
I'd happily participate.
A lot of people pushing for it, pushing hard.
I'll run a bit of propaganda ads.
Do it. Definitely.
I'll just get approved from the Electoral Commission, make sure everything's all approved from my lawyer too. I could do it. Simple enough.
Definitely get the Electoral Commission's permission.
I've got a secret project I'm working on. I'll spoil it a little bit real quick. It's called Contra Auto, and it's sort of like Hobson's Pledge and TPU and all that, except it focuses on the accountability aspect of government compared to being an advocacy organization where it shuts down people. That's the difference.
Yeah,
so it'll be very interesting. We might run some banner ads all over social media. I bet Jordan Williams will get a bit jealous.
Only if you take away his viewers, and he's not going to like that very much at all.
Well, what if I just bought my viewers?
We have a winner. Magenta is.
I'll do what he does.
Right.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do? I'll set up bot comments so they all run in our comment sections and praise us.
Oh wow! There was a little confetti thing. So
I saw that.
Yeah. Magenta is taking it out.
Clips that.
Yeah, you'll be fine. huge congratulations to Magenta. Of course, Magenta is one of the hosts for BHN, so they know their stuff. I think it shows just how connected the BHN hosts are when it comes to this kind of content and what they're dealing with every day. So well done, Magenta. Well done to everybody who's had a go at this. I will find a way to get this up online so people can do this quiz.
Congrats, guys.
Themselves over the rest of the holiday period. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it. One final question for you. Magenta didn't write the quiz. Where was it?
Here's my conspiracy theory. Did they use ChatGPT?
No, not at all.
So if I was winning, I'd be doing it.
No, I wrote the quiz. Lots of research.
I think I got like
ignoring family at Christmas.
I got the most unluckiest number, 13.
That's not good. What have you guys got planned for the rest of the night? Doing anything at midnight?
Well, for me personally, I guess I could start. I've got a phone call. I've got another phone call. I've got a site release in a couple hours. I've got a bunch of arrangements for tomorrow. Yeah, it's busy for me. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice afternoon. But I'll definitely be watching that countdown eventually.
Yeah. Has the sky cleared down there?
In my undisclosed location. Yeah, no, it's not raining.
How about you, Michael?
No, it's all very quiet around here in Wellington. I know the whole of Courtney Place is all blocked off for a big New Year's Eve thing. Hey, I just want to do a final shout out to one of my old political colleagues from way back who died 3 months ago or so, Jim Bolger, who was mentioned, as you know, in an extraordinary speech in the House during the year, which was reshared, and you might want to share it again. When Sam Hunt was on a flight across New Zealand and recounted a lovely ballad to Jim Bolger, Jim and Joan. He's a really fine leader of his time, and you know, you couldn't find a national leader more divorced from this current incumbency of this right-wing mob at the moment. So I just want to kind of have a recollection and a thought for his passing this year and his service to the country.
He did a lot for the country. The time that he was there was certainly very impactful for people. He would have been our oldest living former national prime minister, wouldn't he? So I suppose that
That'd be right. Yeah.
The last ones that have left. I mean, we can make sure that we get back up to the same number of former prime ministers in 2026 just by giving that role that's recently been vacated by Jim to Chris Luxon. He can have that role if he wants it. He should. I think we should totally give it to him. And that, I think we're done and dusted for the night.
Lovely. Thank you, Paul. And thank you for all your work this year.
I'm glad that it's over. I'm sure next year will be nowhere near as busy. It couldn't possibly be anywhere
well, I
near
think I really appreciate just the opportunity. I actually haven't done interviews for a very long time. So it's really nice to just chat with some good friends, and hopefully we can do more of this in next year's campaign trail. And yeah, it'll be interesting to just join in a bit more and participate. Yeah,
that's the plan. Next year, busy year. Change the government, change the world.
Yeah, and thanks so much, Paul, just for your efforts and everything too. Obviously, I just want to let the viewers know, just from a personal perspective, between me and Paul, we do converse a lot. It's just really interesting how much content Paul produces, and I think out of interest that is a positive thing, because people get informed. So it's really important you do share this content wherever you can, even if it gets 5 views, that's 5 people. It's just self-explanatory. And what we're doing all here is we're just kind of discussing what goes on, current affairs, and I think that's just really important. People were talking because the last election, there was not much of a people-led platform, like, for example, BHN or Paul Boileau doing these live streams with, popular figures as such. So yeah, just a encouragement. Tell people.
get people out there voting. It's a perfect message to finish on. Thank you very much,
Wonderful.
guys. Have a fantastic new year. And I will catch you guys on the other side of midnight.
Right. Hurrah.
Ka kite.